Thank you, Mr. President. I do want to rise to take part in this Take Note debate in specific with reference to the answer the question was asked by the opposition, my colleague Rose Jackson, regarding why won't your government, enforce the requirements for toilets for women on New South Wales work sites? And then, Mr. President, the minister proceeded to recite the code and how the implication was that there was already provisions in place, and then took the question on notice about the enforcement. You see, the issue is not about the code and the provisions for amenities on work sites. The issue is with the enforcement of that code. And we heard the debate last night brought on by Abigail Boyd and the ETU campaign, which has engendered this. And the whole point of it is that the code's not being enforced. So the response we heard from the government last night was that Safe Work's been actively engaging with the ETU on this matter. And that's the whole point, isn't it? I mean, the idea that the ETU hasn't raised these issues with Safe Work and pointed out the examples, clearly there's been no prosecutions and no action. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debate last night and today, further on question time. So the issue goes down to the enforcement and thus the requirement for a more prescriptive legislative regime. Because clearly if Safe Work are not prosecuting, they haven't got the specificity in the code required to carry out the prosecutions. It's too general, it's too vague. We need good amenities in work sites, or words to those effect. So I'll just read out quickly the ETU recommendation number 1, which goes to the heart of the problem. The workplace health and safety legislative regime must be amended to provide prescriptive minimum requirements for workplace amenities which ensure they are regularly serviced, accessible, suitable and open. And then it goes on to list the requirements: ratios of toilets, suitable sanitaries, differentiation between the requirements of men and women. So the point is, Mr. President, and it seemed lost on the minister, is that the current code is inept, inadequate, and the reason that they're not being enforced and prosecuted is because it's not prescriptive enough. And that's what the line of questioning was trying to tease out today. And instead, all we got was a recitation of the code and taking on notice how many prosecutions there will be. I'll tell you how many there'll be: 0. I can almost guarantee it. And that's why the Boyd motion last night was so important, because we actually need to legislate prescriptive minimum requirements.